Why did the old man from the crowd wipe the bride's face? The old man also presented a gift, but the gift disappeared. Something isn't right. Well, let's find out. Chisom is a proud daughter of Umudike Kingdom. She is the girl that everyone in the village loved due to her kindness, beauty, and intelligence. From the day she was born, elders nodded in admiration. She was not just an ordinary child. Her skin glowed like polished mahogany. Her deep brown eyes shone like the evening moon, and when she smiled, it was as if the sun itself had taken a liking to her. Her parents, Nne Chisom and Papa Chisom, were simple farmers, but they knew their daughter was destined for greatness. She will bring honor to this family, the village women often said, watching her grow into a fine young woman. And indeed, she did. Chisom was not only beautiful, but also intelligent and ambitious. Unlike many girls who focused on marriage from a young age, she had bigger dreams. She excelled in school, winning prizes and recognition from teachers. She spoke eloquently, read books that even some elders could not understand, and carried herself with grace of a queen. Suitors lined up at her doorstep from the time she turned 16. Chisom, marry me, young men pleaded. Some came with yams and palm wine. Others, determined to outshine their rivals, arrived with gold, coral beads, and bolts of the finest George fabric. But she refused them all. I will marry when the time is right, she always said. Her mother worried. Mom, beauty does not last forever. Do not let pride make you lose a good man. In our lineage, we always marry early. You need to take one of these suitors coming for your hand in marriage. Choose one. Besides, your father and I are mere farmers. We don't have money to see you through the university. Mother, don't worry. I will marry when the time comes. I need to focus on myself and build my life so I don't have to depend on any man in the future. As for my education, I know that the Almighty God will make a way where there is no way. I will surely graduate. Chisom will always assure her mother. Her poor mother, who have no other choice, will believe, hoping for the best. Chisom studied very hard. She made her studies her best friend, and as God may have it, she won a scholarship to the university. It was a great news and a thing of joy for both Chisom and the people of Umudike. This made people to love her even more, and every parent wish she is their own child. But Chisom was not proud. She was focused. She left Umudike for the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where she studied business administration and graduated with top honors. While many girls her age were preparing for marriage, she was preparing for greatness. It was in Onitsha, the bustling city of traders, that she met the man who would change her life, Obinna. Obinna was the kind of man that made women pause in admiration. Tall, broad-shouldered, with a voice like roaring thunder. He was a man of few words, but great wisdom. He was the son of Chief Maduka, one of the wealthiest traders in Onitsha. But unlike many rich men's sons who relied on their father's wealth, Obinna built his own empire. He owned large warehouses, ran a successful import business, and was widely respected for his generosity. Chisom met Obinna in the most unexpected way. One fateful afternoon, she was crossing the busy Ochanja market when a reckless motorcyclist sped towards her. She froze. Before she could react, strong hand pulled her out of harm's way. "Are you all right?" a deep voice asked. She looked up and met the dark, piercing eyes of Obinna. That was the beginning of something beautiful. At first, Chisom resisted his advances. "I am not ready for marriage," she told him. Obinna chuckled. "Who said something about marriage? Let's start with friendship." And so, they became friends. Real friends. He supported her dreams, encouraged her when she started her own fashion business, and admired her for her intelligence. Over time, friendship turned into something deeper. After 2 years, Obinna went down on one knee and said, "Chisom, will you make me the happiest man alive?" For the first time in her life, she didn't hesitate. "Yes, I will marry you, Obinna." Obinna was very happy that he was lucky to get a yes from Chisom. To him, it's like he just won a multi-million-dollar contract. He wore Chisom the engagement ring, hugged her, and kissed her on the forehead, whispering, "I will love you forever, Chisom. I promise to stand by you and support you no matter what." That very day, Obinna organized a very huge engagement party to celebrate their engagement. He knows he was lucky to win Chisom's heart. The news of Chisom's engagement spread like wildfire through Umudike. "Ada Umudike is getting married." This, everyone would whisper. Everyone was wondering who could be the lucky man to have finally won the angel's heart. Most people couldn't wait to see the special man. The wedding planning began. It would be the grandest wedding the village had ever seen. From Onitsha, Obinna sent the finest tailors to sew her wedding dresses. The wealthiest traders donated bags of rice, gallons of palm wine, and cows for the feast. Top musicians were hired, and elders gathered to bless the union. So many people, especially the poor, got well prepared to eat and drink to stupor that fateful day, because the rumor already has it that Chisom is getting married to the richest importer in Onitsha. It was the greatest anticipated event in Umudike Kingdom. On the wedding day, the entire village was present. Chisom was a vision of perfection in her luxurious wedding gown. As she walked down the aisle, Obinna's heart pounded. This was the woman he had waited for all his life. They firstly went to the church for their church wedding. In the presence of many witnesses, the priest's voice rang out, "Do you, Chisom, take Obinna to be your lawfully wedded husband?" "I do," she replied. The crowd erupted in cheers. The priest turned to Obinna. "Do you take Chisom to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "Of course I do, with all pleasure," Obinna replied. "Today, I bless your union and pray that your marriage shall be in good health, in power, and in grace of abundance. You may kiss your bride," the priest said. The whole crowd clapped as the marital vow was taken. It's a new beginning. Make some noise for the latest couple in town. After the church wedding, Chisom went to prepare for the reception as the people were already waiting eagerly to marry. The reception was a festival on its own. The hall was filled to the brim. Music thundered through the air. Money rained down on the couple, and the aroma of jollof rice and goat meat filled the space. But then, something strange happened. An old man, frail and hunched, stepped forward from the crowd. He had a deep-set eyes and wrinkled face that held secrets untold. "My daughter," he said softly, "let me bless you." Before she could react, he lifted a white handkerchief and gently wiped her face and touched the handkerchief on her belly. A sudden cold sensation washed over her. She shivered, but with all the excitement, she quickly forgot about it. She could not notice what had transpired spiritually. The party was one to talk about. Everyone that came to the party had the fun of their life. Everyone ate and drank to their satisfaction. After the party, it was time for gift presentation. Later that evening, as gifts were being presented to the couple, the old man returned. In his hands was a beautiful wrapped box. "Take this, my daughter," he said, handing it to her. She smiled and accepted it. She had no idea that her fate had just been written. After the event, everyone went to their previous homes, including the couple. When Chisom was checking her gifts, she found one little empty box. The gift box was empty. She could not understand a thing. Why would someone give her an empty gift? But she laughed over it, feeling maybe the person did so out of shame, so that he or she will not be left out as others presented gifts. After opening all her gifts and keeping them properly, she and her husband united. They went for their honeymoon. It was a blast of a honeymoon. Obinna took Chisom to the finest resort in the country, where just the two of them hired the whole apartment all to themselves. This seems like a perfect marriage. At first, life as Obinna's wife was everything Chisom had dreamed of. Their home in Onitsha was a grand mansion with tall pillars, marble floors, and a garden filled with hibiscus and frangipani. She had everything a woman could ask for: wealth, love, and a husband who adored her. But something was missing: a child. 1 year passed, then 2, then 3. At first, she was not worried. These things take time, she told herself. But by the 4th year, the whispers began. At weddings, women lowered their voices when she passed. At family gatherings, Obinna's relatives threw indirect jabs. "What is a woman without a child?" one aunt said, loud enough for Chisom to hear. Obinna's mother, Mama Obinna, who had once embraced her with warmth, grew distant. "My son," she told Obinna one evening, "you need an heir. This woman is a barren tree. I think you need to act fast. Are you sure she's a woman?" Obinna was furious. "Mama, leave my wife alone," he said. But the pressure only increased. It was beginning to be so unbearable for both Chisom and Obinna. Worries grew, and the once peaceful, joyful marriage began to grow with silence. Though Obinna was calm, but Chisom was no longer comfortable in her own home. Chisom tried everything. She visited the best hospitals in Lagos, Enugu, and Abuja. Doctors ran tests, examined her, and gave the same answer: there is nothing wrong with both of them, medically. Nothing wrong, yet she remained childless. She turned to faith, fasting, praying, crying at night. "Chineke, have I offended you? What have I done wrong to deserve all this suffering and disgrace in the hands of people? I used to be a woman of honor, but now I'm reduced to a woman of mockery. Please, come to my aid, O Lord," she whispered in the dark. The worst part, Obinna's patience was wearing thin. One night, as they lay in bed, she turned to Obinna. "Obi, do you still love me?" He sighed heavily. "Chisom, I love you, but I need a child. Even my mother is mounting lots of pressure on me. They want me to take another wife. I don't know how long I will hold onto their pressure." Her heart shattered. She wept profoundly that very night. In that moment, she knew if she did not conceive soon, she could lose everything. In Umudike, Chisom's mother, Nne Chisom, did not give up. She went from shrine to shrine, seeking answers. She visited powerful seers and prayed at midnight. But one evening, she heard that a great man of God was coming to Umudike, a prophet known for breaking curses and exposing wickedness. The night before, she fasted the whole day without food and water. At night, she prayed. She asked God to come to her daughter's aid. A child whom is always known to be a child of honor must not be reduced to mockery. She promised God that if he gives her daughter a child, she will never worship any other god again. Then, on that fateful day, the day of the crusade, the entire village gathered at the town square. Women clapped and sang praises. The air was charged with power. The whole atmosphere was filled with praise and worship. Then, the priest arrived. Without waste of time, he took over the microphone and started ministration. He preached of kindness and love, repentance, loving one another. Then, after the preaching comes the due time, the time everyone has been waiting for, deliverance time. As the priest raised his hands to pray, something unexpected happened. A sudden piercing scream tore through the crowd. "Ah! Fire! Fire! I am burning!" The villagers turned and saw Mazi Otika, Chisom's uncle. His body convulsed, his eyes rolled back, and he collapsed on the ground. The priest pointed at him. "Confess your sins or perish." Mazi Otika trembled. "Forgive me. I will confess. I will confess. I cursed Chisom's womb." A loud gasp rippled through the crowd. Nne Chisom rushed forward. "Otika, my own brother-in-law, but why? Chisom took you as her own father. She loved you with passion. How could you do this to an innocent girl?" Tears ran down his face. "I was jealous. My daughters were older than Chisom, yet none of them married before her. No man is coming for them, but everyone was rushing Chisom. It was as if Chisom cursed my daughters, that men don't see them, but see only her. I felt ashamed. I went to a native doctor. He gave me a charm and told me to wipe her stomach with a handkerchief on her wedding day. That was how I stole her womb." The villagers erupted in shock. "And the empty gifts?" the priest asked. Mazi Otika sobbed. "It was to symbolize her empty womb." Nne Chisom fell on her knees, wailing. The priest lifted his hands. "Today, by the power of the Almighty, Chisom's womb shall be restored." At that moment, miles away, Chisom clutched her stomach. A sudden unbearable heat surged through her belly. She gasped. Something had changed. At that moment, the youth of Umudike had threatened to stone Mazi Otika to death. But the priest objected. "Take not law into your hands. Leave judgment for the Lord thy God. We don't have the power to create, so we should not destroy," the priest said to the villagers, and they listened. That was how Mazi Otika was saved from the angry mobs. Many other people were reunited that same day, and that was how the crusade ended in praise. The night after the crusade in Umudike, Chisom lay in bed exhausted. Few weeks, she had felt weak, tired, and restless. But after that sudden heat in her belly, something felt different. She placed a hand on her stomach. Was it her imagination, or did her body feel lighter? In the morning, she woke up with an unusual craving for roasted yam and palm oil, a meal she hadn't eaten since childhood. Obinna raised an eyebrow. "You, eating roasted yam this early?" Chisom chuckled. "I don't know why, but I just need it." That same week, Her energy returned. Her skin glowed again. Her laughter, which had been missing for years, came back. Then, one morning, she woke up feeling dizzy. A sudden nausea hit her, and she rushed to the bathroom. Obinna stared in shock. Chisom, are you okay? Are you sick? Her hands trembled. Obi, what if... They locked eyes. Without wasting time, Obinna rushed her to the hospital. As the doctor examined her, Chisom's heart pounded. Please, let this be real, they said. Minutes later, the doctor smiled and said, Congratulations, you are pregnant. Chisom's hand flew to her mouth. Tears streamed down her face. Obinna shouted with joy, lifting her in his arms. Chineke, after all these years, the news spread like wildfire through Umudike. The same mouths that once whispered about her barrenness now sang praises. Chisom is pregnant. In her mother's compound, Nne Chisom fell to her knees. Oh Chineke, you are indeed the God that answers prayers. But while Umudike rejoiced, Maazi Otika's house fell into darkness. His evil had backfired. Months passed, and Chisom's pregnancy blossomed. Women from the village came, bearing gifts, wrappers, baby clothes, and baskets from fresh fruits. The once childless woman was now the most celebrated in Umudike. Finally, the day arrived. As the midwife surrounded her, Chisom clutched Obinna's hands. Hours later, a loud cry filled the room. Then, another. Twins, a boy and a girl. Chisom held them close, tears streaming down her face. After everything, after all the pain, I am finally a mother. Outside, the villagers danced, sang and praised God. It was a miracle, but not everyone was celebrating. As Chisom embraced motherhood, Maazi Otika lived in disgrace. His daughters, whom he had tried to elevate above Chisom, never found husbands. His name became a warning in Umudike. Do not be like Maazi Otika, for envy destroys. One afternoon, as he sat outside his compound, a group of elders approached him. They had one final message. You stole a womb, and now your daughters remain unmarried. You tried to destroy a destiny, but Chisom was protected. The gods do not sleep. We, the elders of Umudike, have had a meeting and have come to a conclusion that you and your household is banished from Umudike. You shall live and never return. Any day we see you around our community again, you will be sacrificed to the gods. Leave our land for us. If we leave you here, you will still commit more evil one day. Maazi Otika and his family was let out of Umudike in shame. And so, Maazi Otika faded into loneliness and regrets. As for Chisom, she flourished. She became a pillar of strength for women struggling with childlessness. She opened the foundation to support barren women. She became the voice of the barren. She often say she decided to be the voice of the barren because she knows what they pass through. And whenever she held her children, she whispered, no one can take what God has given. God never sleeps. He never slumbers.